And so I'd like to introduce to you a panel. Dr. Ian Mannion is the Executive Director of the Ontario Centre for Child and Youth Mental Health, and I'll be turning the microphone over to Dr. Mannion in just a few moments. But here are our youth panelists from the Youth Services Bureau Youth Engagement Project. Peter Gindel here. Peter, thanks so much for joining us. And Myron Cathier. And we'll also be hearing from the YouthNet organization, Emily Baudouin and Hannah Brunsden. And Dr. Mannion, I'm going to turn things over to you, and let's get the youth engaged in this project.
We've actually asked all four of our panelists to tell us what the key ingredients would be for an Ottawa suicide-safer community. And we're going to start with Peter. Give us some context and tell us what you think those key ingredients would be.
Okay. In terms of a little bit of context, I'm 21 years old. I've lived my whole life in Ottawa. And in high school, I went to Glebe, and the whole time I really didn't know what I was going to do. I got depressed many times. I never felt like I was really part of a community. And that's kind of understandable considering the school system these days is mostly about trying to get youth out of it rather than trying to help them while they're in it, in my opinion. So a lot of the times I got depressed because I wasn't working towards something, and I didn't have a sense of community, and I had little sense of my own moral code because I didn't have very much time to think about it. And about a year after I got out of Glebe, I was in an alternative program, and I went to the Youth Services Bureau, to the Rainbow Youth Advisory Committee, because someone told me that I might be really good at it. And the first couple meetings were all right, but it wasn't until about 6 months later that I realized that youth engagement is the three things that are needed to make to make Ottawa a safer suicide community. And the reason why I say this is because while I was doing this youth engagement work, I found a focus outside of myself. I started working towards goals that didn't only have to do with me, and I was thinking about things that didn't only have to do with my life. I found out what I wanted to do with my life. I'm currently studying community studies in college, and I kind of want to go to sociology, and all this is because I had the time and the patience to just sit with the youth engagement team, and they had the patience to sit with me to help me figure it out. Shame became empowerment. The things which I was uncomfortable talking about, all of a sudden I was able to talk about with a power, and the stigma that was once there in these things that made me uncomfortable was kind of turned on its head. And the thing which I found really cool was teaching peers about what's actually important to me. So I had a list of things which is important to me beforehand, and now I can go out there and I'm confident to teach my peers about it. Thank you.
So my name is Myron. I'm from the Youth Services Bureau. I'm also 21. My three topics would be personal empowerment, valuable information, and resources. Personally, I entered YSB at a really critical time in my life. I didn't know what I was doing. I ran away from home. I dropped out of school, started engaging in risky behaviors. I was referred to YSB to a counselor who really listened to me and gave me everything I needed. And as an extra, she asked me to participate in her youth engagement program. As a way to give back, I didn't really know what I was doing really, so I took part in the youth engagement program. And from there, I was empowered. I was able to learn about my community's needs. I was able to target those issues by training and educating. I felt a sense of pride, a sense of self-esteem.
Both Myron and Peter talked about the importance of youth engagement, and we know that youth that are meaningfully engaged in important endeavors actually are healthier, mentally, physically, engage in less risk behavior, have less risk for suicide. But we also know the organizations, for example, they engage in are also empowered, have a different culture that can better meet the needs of the people they're trying to serve. So that's terrific.